Alrighty. Battery's still doing good. Thank God. Ugh. You know, so, and I wanted to tell them, I should have asked the mom of the kids that we called the cops showed up on. I should have asked her, like, hey, is it okay if you can call them over here? I want to talk to them. And I'm like, do they understand English? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, can you do me a favor and have them come over here? I said, now, okay. I'm like, okay, you're going to listen to me clear. Don't act dumb because I know you can understand me. And I'm not gonna say that, I'd fucking try to teach them life lessons on how to act. I tell them what they're doing. Yeah, I understand they're trying to be cool and enjoy life and have fun. I understand that because I do it too. But you got to look at it this way. You hit somebody, there's going to be multiple charges brought up against you, and guess what? It's most likely going to get turned into a federal offense, so then you're going to go to prison. And here's why. You could get charged with a hit and run. You could get charged with vehicular manslaughter. And maybe even murder if they die. And those are all federal offenses. If the judge wanted to give you max penalty, you could be sitting the next 15 plus years in prison. Because murder is like 10-15 years, I think. Going on this bridge. I know I got across earlier, but I gotta reposition my foot. I don't like that bridge. I don't know why. So with you guys driving recklessly, you could get charged with reckless driving. And all that's going to show up in your records, and that's going to be on your record the rest of your life. And yeah, I understand you want a good job. Yeah, get good jobs. Get paid good money, do good for yourselves. But also at the same time, you got to look at it as this corner gets me too every time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. See, works when you be nice. I hate being nice, but you know, it's a good thing. You know, I tell them, you know, I list off, you know, all these charges, and they're like, "You're serious on this?" I'm like, "Yes." I'll be like, "Yes." And I'm gonna, you know, back his, you know, their mom on this. And I'm like, "Listen, I don't know your mom like how you do, and I'm gonna apologize if you take, you know, I'd apologize to her for if she would take offense to that." I said, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm sorry if you took offense to that, and I didn't mean nothing by it. I apologize." And she's like, "Oh, you're fine," you know, because she's really, really polite. But I'm gonna be honest with you, or I'm gonna tell them, I'm gonna say this, you know, so that you go home taking something from this. Like, okay, you know, now I need to reevaluate my life and realize that, hey, if I keep fucking around, I could, you know, ruin my life for, you know, the rest of my life. And that could be the case, because that could limit you on how you get you know, how good of a job you get, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, look at your brothers that have, you know, these, you know, that are electricians and all this other, you know, the ones that are, you know, like electricians and whatever else. You know, they got good paying jobs. Those are, you know, could be upwards of $100,000 a year. You know, depending on what, you know, how much you're getting paid a year, you know, whatever. Like, you think so? I'm like, yeah, you get a good job like an electrician or plumber or whatever, that could land some good change in your pocket at the end of the year before taxes. You know, and if you have a record, those jobs aren't going to hire you because they look at records. I guarantee it. You know, I want them to be like, okay, you're right, I want to reevaluate my life. I said, yeah, you guys should be lucky that you guys got, you know, open lunch for school. I'll see you guys in a bit.